Unit 10. Soil, Vegetation, and Fauna. The soil. Soil, a layer of ground and other materials that covers the rocks. What lives in the soil? Plants and animals. What makes the soil? Animals, the roots of plants, water, wind, and changes in temperature. All of this makes the rocks break into smaller pieces. These pieces mix with the remains of plants and animals and makes the soil. Parts of the soil. What are the parts of the soil? Organic matter and inorganic matter. Organic matter is made by the remains of living things. The decomposition of these remains creates humus. This is the dark colored top layer you see on the ground. Inorganic matter is made by non-living things. Water that flows through the soil, air, and sand are inorganic matter. So, the soil is a mixture of organic and inorganic matter. Types of soil. There are different types of soil according to the amount of humus and water it has. Fertile soil. Soil with lots of humus and lots of water are very fertile. This means they are good for cultivation. Poor soil. Soil with little humus are poor and not good for cultivation. Only plants that need few nutrients can grow in this type of soil. Arid soil. Soil that is arid or dry is infertile. Only plants that need little water and nutrients can live here. So, depending on the amount of humus and water it has, soil can be fertile, poor, or arid. Soil layers. There are different layers of soil that are different depths and made up of different materials. Topsoil is made up of water, sand, and humus. It holds the roots of plants. Some small animals live here. Subsoil is made up of sand and rocks. There is less water than in the top layer. The roots of bigger plants are at this level. And bedrock. This is made up of bigger rocks. It is the deepest layer. It has the least amount of water. So, topsoil. Soil has a topsoil, a subsoil, and bedrock. The soil and living things. Soil and vegetation. The soil and its vegetation benefit from one another. Plants benefit from soil. The soil holds the roots of the plants. It also provides the water and the nutrients they need to grow. The soil benefits from plants. Plants help make humus. The fallen leaves and dead plants become organic matter that makes the soil more fertile. The roots of the plants also hold the materials that make up the soil. This makes the soil more resistant to the forces of rainwater or wind. Soil benefits plants. Plants benefit soil. So, plants need the soil to live. The soil benefits the plants. The soil and fauna. The soil and animals benefit from one another. Animals benefit from the soil. Some animals, like worms, rabbits, and moles, live inside the soil. They dig tunnels or burrows to build their homes. They eat the plants that grow in the soil. The soil benefits from animals. When the animals dig their tunnels, they move the soil and air around, mixing all their elements and enriching the soil. They also help create humus with their excrements and the remains of their skin and hair. Soil benefits from animals. Animals benefit from soil. So, animals need the soil to live. The soil benefits from the animals. Fauna and vegetation. The fauna and vegetation can be inland or on the coast. Inland fauna and vegetation. Inland fauna and vegetation can be on the plains or mountains. Here's the fauna. We can have it on the coast or inland. And inland is on the plains or on the mountains. On the plains. The climate on the plains has extreme temperatures. It can be very hot or very cold. On the plains, there are birds like partridges and storks. There are mammals like hares, rabbits, and foxes. On the plains, the common trees are oak trees, pine trees, and juniper trees. There are also shrubs like lavender and esparto. There is more vegetation on the banks of rivers along here and on lakes, right by the lakes here, and the swamps and reservoirs. Common bank vegetation are reeds and willow trees. Fish like trout, salmon, and eels live in these waters. Frogs and boars are also common. In the mountains, the climate in the mountains has frequent and snowy precipitation at its highest altitudes. In the mountains, we can find birds like vultures, eagles, mammals like bears and foxes, and reptiles like lizards and fish like trout. The vegetation is varied with forests full of chestnut and beech trees and heather or blueberry bushes. You, heather. So, inland fauna and vegetation are different if they are on the plains or in the mountains. And now we're going to the coast, the coastal fauna and vegetation. The climate on the coast has mild temperatures all year. Coastal fauna and vegetation. There are birds like seagulls, herons, and pelicans, or fish like sardines and hakes. We also can find shellfish like crabs and clams. The typical vegetation on the coast are pine trees, eucalyptus trees, and shrubs like gorse, which is yellow, and palmettos. So, the vegetation and fauna on the coast are adapted to a mild climate. The end.